Hello YouTube, my name is Theseus and welcome to my first ever video. Now today we are covering a little something called Crusader Kings 3. And this is no ordinary Crusader Kings 3, this is modded Crusader Kings 3. And the featuring mod is something called Elf Dynasty. Now, this mod allows you to, as you can assume, become an elf. And there is quite a bit of content to go with it, I'd imagine. This mod is a few months old, from my understanding, came out back in November, if I remember correctly. Is a flourishing Discord server, although unfortunately at this point in time I cannot provide a link as due to the limitations of YouTube, I will not be able to provide clickable links until tomorrow. Now, first up, to decide where to start. As you can see, I decided to start in the early start of Crusader Kings 3, where it's before the Holy Roman Empire, before the proper medieval age has begun, where many of the eastern countries like Minsk are tribal. On what our goal is. Well, as a start, I'd say we would do what any CK3 player will do and try and form the Holy Roman Empire. But instead of a human being on the throne, it will be an elf. And elves will rule all mankind. Now, we need to decide exactly where we want to start. Do you want to start as a big country, like, say, East Francia? Do you want to start as someone like Prussia, where we are in a tribal era, and we have our pick of the litter of how we want to expand, or even become, say, someone in Italy and play as a vassal? Now, knowing the nature of this mod, and I have played it a little bit, if we are to get into the truly elf stuff early on in the game, we want to start as someone who is not a vassal, as turning into an elf can get yourself put in jail pretty quickly by those who do not like the elven religion. So, I say we start as, say, what do we have here? We have Chiefdom of Sidnia. Forgive my pronunciation. I do not speak German or any of the European languages other than English, so my exact pronunciation is not always going to be correct. Now, when deciding exactly which country you're going to play as, you are going to want to keep in mind what all you're going to want to be doing. So if you want to, say, start up here by the North Sea, not only do you have to keep in mind that you will have Vikings to contend with, you have all your neighbors who are trying to form these duchies and kingdoms at the same time as you are. So unless you are going for a particularly difficult run, and I am just going to do a normal difficulty run here, I say we go with someone that's not too small, but also not someone who is like large as East Francia, as who wants to start out as someone who can just bowl over everyone. That's not fun. So, let's see. You also want to keep in mind who your vassals are going to be. Like some of these high chiefdoms don't have vassals. And sometimes it can be good to not have vassals, not have to worry about anyone not listening to you. As opposed to someone, say, Bohemia, who most of his lands are eaten up by his vassals, and they will have much, much power over them. So I say we start out as the High Chiefdom of Silesia. It is decently sized. Its neighbors, while powerful, are not overwhelmingly so. And it has some good choices on places to expand. Now, as our goal of Silesia, we will, fortunately, we already have the Duchy, or in this case, High Chiefdom of Silesia. But it is also in the Kingdom of Poland, which means that will be our first goal, to form Poland and then expand the Holy Roman Empire afterwards. We are going to create our own ruler. Now, the way I create my rulers is a tad unorthodox. I do have a lot of time put into vanilla, and what I like to do is I like to get in my gene traits as soon as possible and get that strengthened bloodline decision, as that helps massively in your building up your dynasty and making sure you have a good gene pool. Now, unfortunately, at the standard age of 18, when you get your crown, you have more than 400 customization points. Now, if you are just playing by yourself and don't really care for achievements or anything like that, then that doesn't matter. But for the sake of YouTube and content and how I don't want things to be particularly easy, this requires us to be a wee baby. Now, on one hand, this leaves us at a disadvantage while ruling. On the other, it allows us to get all our personality traits for free, as we will get them while we grow. Also, while I'm here, I do notice I got 6 more customization points that I gotta earn. I'll take out... I'll do some diplomacy debuff, as all the others can be pretty useful. Now, after we got our traits, we don't need to pick a personality, we can't choose an education, can't really do anything else over here, which means it's all customization for the actual character now. Of course, we will start out as Theseus. Me, mwahaha. And we want to decide our last name. What's a good last name? Lubransky, no. Apowski, no. Gamrat, that's interesting. No. Rudolph. Theseus Rudolph of the Rudolf Dynasty. It fits with the flag, I'll admit. But we are going to change the flag. Now, this mod is particularly inspired by other existing IPs. Tolkien, Lord of the Rings, one of them. I also am inspired by these things. And so when I am playing the elf mod, I like to do this with my flag. And for those who don't know, this flag is remarkably similar to the flag of the High Elves, Imladris, if you will, in The Lord of the Rings. Got our little star here with a bluish purple background. Now, after that, appearance, because I do like the thought of my character looking like a high elf, aside from the ears, because I don't think that changes when you turn into an elf. Hairstyle, his hair will grow. Get that. We'll get the medium long flowing hair. Wizard beard. That's new. Never seen that before. But he cannot have a beard as he is a baby. Want to make sure faith and culture not entirely important right now, as those will both change once the mod starts going. I think I won't bother renaming the chiefdom. You can also change its colors and flag and stuff. Everything looks good. Achievements are available. This is my character. I will have a look into the game rules. Currently, default. Black Death happens 1. Plagues, I am not a fan of the plague mechanic. I think base game, it happens way too often for what a plague would typically be. Because when you think of plague, you think of the real big stuff like Black Death and stuff, not like the common cold. And those happen very frequently for my taste. So put those on rare. It doesn't become as rare as it would think by the name. Everything else, also stuff like this, keep in mind, I am currently a low-budget gamer, which means I do not have all the fancy DLC for Crusader Kings. This means that Legend, Spread Chance, Legend Cost, none of that really applies to me, because I do not have the DLC accompanied for that. Hybrid culture, cooldown, all that stuff. On-gold invasion. That'll be interesting to deal with good 400 years in the future. Hopefully we'll have the Holy Roman Empire by then. All this stuff, default, end date. I like to turn the end date off because I don't like to be restricted by time. 1453, that does leave us a good amount of time. And there is a possibility that this series will end before then. But I don't like to be restricted like that. Diplomatic range is fine. All this is fine. Custom kingdoms on. Generate families. Excuse me. This just means, as it says on the tin, everyone who doesn't have a family will get one generated for them. All this is fine. Fine. Domain limit's fine. Now this, I am running some submods along with the main Elven Destiny mod. I do have a few submods for Elven Destiny specifically. I do not remember their names off the top of my head, but I do have Succession Plus as well as a mod, which allows me to get name my heir and stuff as well as whatchamacallit, automatic well, it's not automatic, it's early primogenitor, which basically allows it so, actually I can show you right here. We'll start the game. Now, normally, you would get Confederation, which means all children inherit equally. While this is accurate to the time period, it does not necessarily make for a fun game, as every time you die, which let's be honest, it will be when we choose to, as we're turning into an elf, our children will split up all our lands, which taking lands and then all of them getting split up is not necessarily fun. So as soon as we get our extra 50, we will get our primogenitor, which means our a single child will get all the titles. Now, you see why I'm a child. Because as soon as you get all 3 good traits and the top tier trait in one, I choose Genius because it is by far the most useful. You get this event here, Strong Blood. Now, this is a good way to kick off getting good traits. Chance of new congenital traits. There are a few other ones, but inheritance is what we like. Now, we have a bright future ahead. I am now the Bloodfather as a newborn. Now, because I am a child, this does have the unfortunate side effect of the elven part of the mod not quite kicking in yet, as that is triggered by an event where you must travel somewhere, and unfortunately as a baby you cannot. So for the first 18 years or so, this will be like any other playthrough. Unfortunately, we are above the domain limit. Let's see, what's our duchy? It's all of this, okay. We want to keep our capital. Where's the Kingdom of Poland's capital? It's down there? Okay, that means that's not important. Let's see, what do we want to give away? We also want to figure out what is built up. Palisade. Log house, we're gonna want to keep that. That's empty, that's empty. Keep that. And we can only have 3. Might keep a few more than that, though, because as we get older, our stewardship will go up, and that will allow us to have more domains. We can give this one away to some random person. We'll just give it to a random noble. This is also empty. That leaves us with 5. This does lower our income and vassals. Hopefully, we want to keep that one. What are these all? That gives us gold. We're gonna want to keep that. 150 levies versus. We can also give this one away. Why? Ah, yes, the building is disabled. I will give this one away. I don't like splitting up my realm this much, but unfortunately it is a necessary sacrifice. And education, stewardship focus. That is generally my favorite focus because it gets you lots of gold. We are a tribal faction currently, which means prestige is more important than gold at this point in time. Okay, now that we are started up, I don't think there's anything else. Ooh. Is there someone better? Yeah. That is much better. We need to mess with our council. He's our best steward. He's our best chancellor. Ooh, you are much better marshal. Ooh. That's 22 intrigue. Who's my next best steward? A 6, huh? He's not a vassal, so we will appoint. I don't want to. He's a very bad steward. He's worse than Straz here. But Straz just so happens to be a extremely good spy master with a 22. That is, for an AI character that's not gonna get all the fun stuff we are gonna get later, that is very good and rare to see at the beginning. Actually, the majority of my council is better than I would often expect to see. With that, we can officially unpause. Now, we've got some Connie horsemen as some men-at-arms. That's not too bad. And now, if I remember correctly, we can declare wars. Managing this. Managing the power sharing, the regency, is gonna be tough. We want this guy to like us. Unfortunately, I cannot sway people at this point in time. So, currently, we are in a bit of a waiting game. Now, we've got 1,400 soldiers. We've got a few we can conquer. Batota. Over here, they are part of the Kingdom of Poland. We can get a bit of Sorbia early, rather than solely focusing on Poland, but it does help with a bit of border gore later on. And hello, what's this? Oh, it's them having a civil war, essentially. These guys are a bit stronger than I would like them to be. So what I shall do is we are going to declare war on these guys here. Normally it wouldn't be so easy, but we are a tribal faction at this point in time, which means declaring wars is actually remarkably easy. And we want to capture the chiefdom of Batota. It is going to take 30 piety. I have 156. It will take roughly, let's see, again, 1.25 a month. I'd say good 2 years to get that 30 piety back. A little bit more. But we are going to declare war, raise all our armies. Now, fortunately, they only have an army of 755. Ooh, you sneaky little. Get back over here. We're just gonna run. I don't blame them, I guess, but... Ah, there we go. We caught ya. We greatly outnumber them. That's gonna help massively. And we just squashed them. And now we want to capture their capital. Hopefully we can capture their heir. Interesting. I will not be reading these out loud. If you wish to do it yourself, you can pause the video. Sometimes I will just read over them myself. But I do not wish to read these out loud. Now, we can either spend 35 prestige. We are losing a bit because we are at war, and while in the tribal era, your armies do require prestige instead of gold. Or we can pay him 30 gold. Now, while we are getting much more gold, but that is almost half of our gold gone. So I would rather lose that 35 prestige. Oh, hello. Looks like they caught a raiding army. They got smashed there, too. That makes my job much easier, although that raiding army is currently raiding a place I will get later on. Now, we are approaching 30 minutes. I will extend this video to 45 minutes because of the length of the introduction and the fact that we did not get going. But in the future, unless otherwise discussed or requested... What's this? Ah! He wants to increase crown authority, but this is by my regent. Interesting. Do I want to do this? It will make him like me. It's an abuse of power. Which, forgive me, I do not understand the power sharing as much as I wish I did. What's this? Okay. Luckily, these guys are mostly loyal, with the exception of this one. I'm having a tough decision. Strife. Does mean they will like him less. You know what? Let's do it. Get me limited tribal authority for free. Means I don't have to spend my prestige. I did spend prestige on it. That's unfortunate. Oh well. We will deal with that later. It does mean I've got less prestige to do this, but once again, I can mess with that later on. We now almost have this 7 days. Now, it doesn't always work like this, but I have captured my enemy's capital as I am also being raided, which is unfortunate as I currently cannot fight back. And Polania's gotten a little bit stronger since I last looked. But I've captured their capital. I have also captured their heir, which grants me war score as well from occupying that. So I get this. I get his lands. That didn't grant me the one I want, but I got his lands anyway. Once again, grant it to... just grant it to a random noble for now. Now that I have this, how long is it gonna take? What is my culture, by the way? Slavenaska Pravada. Normally, what you would want to do is get all your culture to yours. Unfortunate. Well, is it unfortunate? I will be changing that culture later on. So it would be a waste of time to do it now. I would rather... Yeah, I'd just rather him increase that for now. It's going to take 18 years to do anything, which is going to be rough. If I were to run back, what's the odds of me winning? 50-50. We are heavily outnumbered, but we are defending here. Oh, they escaped. Are they gonna... Okay, they can just run. They're out of my lands. Disband all. As a tribal faction, you do want to spend a lot of your early game going around, conquering as many as you can, gathering your forces. We do have these guys here, which we can also conquer. What duchy are they a part of? I did get that, so we want to capture his northern one, Lebusco. Once again, this will spend more piety, raise all armies, and we do rinse and repeat until we win this war, just like the others. I just inherited the chieftain of Spreewald. Ah, that random noble must have died to something. We'll just do it again. My lands are being fought over. We'll do that. Do have 100 gold. Is that enough to build anything? No, because I don't have the prestige to go with it, which is a tad unfortunate. Looks like they have come back for round 2. They did not, however, build up their forces, so they lost their fight, even though it is considered defensive for them since they have the holding. And they are reduced to 5, which is their 5 knights. And I don't see them coming back from this one. Speed it up a bit to get through the 4 months. Four days. We have their capital again. We've got all the war score we need. And we enforce our demands. And we get another bit of land. Once again, we don't want any one vassal to get too strong. Definitely not strong enough to rival us, so we will grant it to a random noble rather than someone who already has bits of land. We are growing. This will change back to a positive as soon as the month ticks over and we get... should tick over. There we go. Got positive again. More wars happening on our lands. We got Moravia. They're getting stronger, and I'm not sure I like it. In a perfect world, I would be able to declare war on these guys again and finish them off. I can, however, expand up here. Now, I do need to be a little bit careful, because all of these people I'm eating up will come back to fight me at some point in time. But these guys, they're fairly weak. Declare war, county. Get that. Want to do as much expansion as possible, so that we are a bigger target. We are a bigger threat to those. That's interesting. They're raiding while I'm fighting. We want to make sure we are not easy pickings for other tribal rulers like Lusatia? Something like that? Or Bohemia, or Moravia. Actually, Bohemia is feudal, which means they can't just declare war on me willy-nilly, like other tribal nations can, such as Polania. Aha! This is where I get my very first personality trait, which is charming. This will affect what I'm going to be good at. Intrigue and diplomacy. Now, if I was older and was making someone my ward, I would be able to influence their education focus. I choose stewardship because of what it grants you later on down the line. Unfortunately, it does not mesh with charming. It is not a hindrance like... Oh, it is a hindrance. That is unfortunate. Which means I'm going to swap over to the diplomacy focus then. Which is not something I particularly want to do, but it is not the worst idea ever. Now, once again, speed up a bit through this fight. People are raiding me. I can't do a whole lot about it. Slow it down as we are about to capture Berlin itself. Berlin at this point in time is just a mere tribe. We have it. It is now part of our growing tumor-shaped empire. Although it cannot be classified as an empire. But one can dream, right? We can continue this expansion train. Grant 2, like I said, don't want any vassals getting traction, and I don't have anyone I particularly want to give it to, so just grant it to a random vassal. And this is what I mean by border gore, because we have the Duchy of Silesia, we also have a part of Lusatia, and now a part of Lutetia? And while that doesn't outright hurt us. It does not always look pretty, but it does give us the option of expansion for our duchy titles. Now, we cannot declare war. Well, we can declare war on those such as Moravia. Can we declare war? We can declare war on Bohemia and Polania. However, we do not have the current strength. Oh, Straz died. Remember when I said I had a very good spy master? That is not true anymore. I now have a very average spy master. But I did notice that I have someone who is a much better steward. I also have someone who's a much better marshal. How old is this man? Versus, they're both 37. This man's much better. Generally, the better their tier, like this guy's got 18, these bars will be going much faster than if, say, a 13, which currently this is taking 5 years. Going from an 18 to a 13, it might take him 7 years instead to do that same amount of work. 45 minutes long, and it seems we have reached a point where not a lot of stuff is going to be happening for a little while. So, that being said, I have been Theseus. Welcome to my channel, and I bid you farewell.